we're actually going to finish off. So 4-0s on the books is definitely not a bad result, you know, in that context.
I mean, look, they 4-0'd Atletico last week. Order.
Can I just say, how weird is this map when you really look at it? It's like
outside.
It's like a bit of a town sort of area, and then it goes straight into this massive giant factory.
And giant robots.
It's like a palace and a factory are connected.
And giant robots.
And giant robots, yeah. I mean, that I can believe.
Yeah. Well, Order's going to be attacking once again here to start it off, this time though on Volskaya Industries. Goats, more goats, and goats, as expected.
Hope you like goats.
Yeah. Although, Order's goats definitely proven to be very successful. They're targeting fast, that seems to be the implication so far. But holding the high ground, nice boot though, is going to just sort of separate all of Ground Zero Gaming. They are trying to sort of regroup here, actually doing a kind of successful job. The problem is that they've now given position over to Order, although that is going to be a D-Mech onto Adam. Delsu though, booped from Hunter. So 1-for-1s are now losing Locust, and Order are kind of just doing their thing. They're doing Order things.
Yeah, I gotta give credit to Adam in that last fight. The ability that he had to kind of create space there for Order, and not even just create space for Order, but just totally throw chaos into the rank for Ground Zero with his shift is just, it was unreal. Yeah. Really watching it. It's kind of like poetry. It's beautiful.
6 minutes, 45 seconds. There's a lot you can do in that time. You can hang the washing. You could also cap the second point here of Volskaya Industries, and I think for Order, they probably don't even need that much time. Ground Zero have got to get to a point where they can somehow get some ults up before losing players. And they lose Delsu. Charge from Quats, though, going to be countered. That might help things. Now he's got the Shatter available. It does get it off, but it's only a two-man Shatter on the Locust and Duboy. 3. Oh, we'll take that. Never mind. Yeah. Quats doing things again.
Exactly. That is just an absolute clinic from Order. I don't even know what to say about that. I mean, Ground Zero, they're going to get the recontest with Jungle Jazz, but that is not going to last too long at all.
They do the rally, but they're changing up their heroes, and so they don't have really ults besides Transcendence. Nothing offensive here that is going to be able to sort of get some kills onto Order. But you know, it's interesting that Quats 3-man Earth Shatter just always finds the right targets, the ones he needs to get.
Even when he gets booped, even though he's like really under pressure there, his HP was quite low. That's very difficult to get an Earth Shatter off when you're at less than 50% as a Reinhardt. But
look how much attention they're putting into Quats, and he still stays alive. They still get the point in Order. Cruising through Volskaya.
That was absolutely, yeah, cruising. That is the easiest I've ever seen Volskaya finished off.
They were racing.
Ground Zero is going to be scratching their heads.
5 minutes, 39 seconds, and Ground Zero now going to have to, well, I was going to say try and repeat the effort, but I don't think that's going to happen. They're going to have to at least try and show us something here. Maybe at least get the first point. That's a B+ if they can do that.
I don't know if a B+ is getting the first point, to be honest. I think capping...
Look, the way this series is going right now, it's something.
Yeah. Or maybe I'm a harsher critic than you are.
I'm just too soft.
That's why we have the national test plan where we can equalize all of our scoring. But realistically, like, I think if you want to get a B+ here for Ground Zero, you need to finish the map off with some time left so that you can kind of go into the time bank, think, while we're an outside chance, we're still a chance.
Yeah.
But let's be real. If you don't finish this with more than, say,
4 minutes, maybe 3.
I was going to say 3 minutes. If you don't finish with more than 3 minutes, there's almost no chance that you win this.
Yeah, I mean, look, 5 minutes, 40 seconds. Like, they literally have more time on their do-over than you do actually get almost for the first push. Just like in terms of first point, right? You get 4 minutes here on the first point, and they're going to have 5 minutes and 40 seconds. So here we go for Ground Zero Gaming. They will be coming out of spawn very shortly. They're going to go Goats.
They're going to go Goats, but Order's going to play Winston Goats here. So Quats has that ability to sort of just jump up and down as he wants. I really like Winston Goats in a position like this, particularly on Assault. We see it a lot on Horizon Lunar Colony as well, where you know more or less that you're going to be going up against the Goats composition.
I like the Ana here, though, because if Duboy can actually get a sleep onto Quats as he's sort of jumping in, that can really hit up. Okay, well,
I think that's just Duboy things where he likes to play and try and find a sleep dart really early. What I like about the Winston here is Quats, look how fast he's going to build this Primal Rage up.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're all inside. It's just so much damage he's going to be able to get on them as well. Adam Max Blank, that's just sort of going to get some free ult charge for himself as well. Although not much is coming from this just yet. What Order are doing is sort of just building up ult economy on key players like Quats. Instant thing as well with Winston on this point, there's so many areas to knock people off.
And the thing is, if Quats actually builds this Primal Rage before Ground Zero get any real established position on the point, they just win the fight.
Yeah.
Order just wins the fight because the displacement that he can provide is going to be massive.
Well, Order's definitely going to be respecting ground zero here. They're not going to just rush on top of them, just, I think, waiting for the right moment to just take their charge still, just trying to build up ults
Isolated Oily.
They know if they take the fight now, they could be at a threat of losing a couple of players, like a Quats on a Winston when he doesn't have a Primal Rage. And they do get Oily, but they lose Unter in the process. Unter, though, is going to come back so quickly.
Yeah, and now we're at the position where Quats probably just charges this ult before he really goes down, even if he gets into a real thick fight. Because he can just charge it so quickly with that Tesla cannon, hitting multiple players. And
Jordan now going to have the Transcendence. So is Delsu for ground zero. That's something at least. Really, Transcendence doesn't do too much to stop a Primal Range.
No, definitely not. Especially when the Zenyatta, the one that probably gets booped out of the fight. Self-destruct is in here, and Bust gets thrown straight into it. Quats has jumped off the edge.
He's just done a bust.
I don't know what happened there.
I think he's just done a bust. There really wasn't anyone around him, to be fair. He's just launched it off the map. Graviton Surge, Transcendence now.
It's a perfect time for the grab out there from Sign. He saw the Transcendence thrown in from down, so he thought, okay, I've got my grab. I'll wait 1 or 2 seconds. Trans is going to end before the grab's finished, and then Order cleans it up.
You know what the scoreline now is, Jordan? It's 2-0.
That's right.
Watts is at 2 off the maps.
That's right.
Bust 0.
Is that a win or a loss? I'm not so sure.
I think it's a win for Bust.
Well done, Bust. At least you're winning something today, if nothing else.
Minute 50 seconds. Here left for ground zero's attack. Should have about 4 ultimates up. They might lose Delsu here if they're not careful. And he will be able to start regenerating his shields as they make their push towards the back end of the point.
Order economy is looking great for ground zero here, though.
Order don't really have too much other than the rally and the sound barrier. So for ground zero, really, the emphasis is definitely on them to win this fight coming up.
I mean, Primal Rage and Graviton Surge can come up in this next fight if ground zero take their time.
Well, they're going to go for the combination. Graviton Surge along with the self-destruct, Oily, Locust combined for, well, nothing at all. Rally, sound barrier doing most of the work there for Order. Adam is going to be D-Mech, but Sign now with the Graviton Surge of his own. All of the supportive ults used for now for ground zero, except Delsu holds on to the Transcendence, which is really good news for ground zero because this can actually really give them the ability to maintain control of this fight with the Earth Shadow from Bust coming up and the Transcendence. Order don't have much.
This is still very much contestable for Order, though, as Adam gets back in the map. He's got self-destruct, and Quats has Primal Rage. So there's a lot of stall potential here for Order, but Quats just gets shield bash.
Done with the shield bash. Couldn't get off the Primal Rage. And ground zero will get the point. Now they've got 4 minutes and 40 seconds.
Yep.
It kind of goes to show how quick Order went through this in the first place.
Exactly. So it's still not an amazing situation here for ground zero. I don't know if this counts as a B+ yet for you, ZeNox, but for me, it's not quite there yet.
They're going to get this in a minute and a half to meet your standards. Look,
That's
you know what? I think so far that's a B, at least better from ground zero. That was a good team fight win for them. It all started with this shield bash from Duboy, getting that onto Quats at a perfect time, who now has switched back over to the Reinhardt. And Order don't really have much of an ult economy besides the Graviton Surge along with the Transcendence. There might be a sneaky chance here for ground zero gaming if they can get an early pick. They're going to go for the Earth Shadow 180 from Bust. It does only get the start with the Locust, but
he's
they
off the
will
map.
confirm it. Bust is off the map.
It's happened again.
Oh, now it's 2-1, and that's a horrible time for Bust to go off the map. They could have really sort of capitalized, and unfortunately now, that's, well, no, nothing's going to come from that.
Well, somebody's going to make another compilation here for Season 1 2019 because it's probably the first of many.
Look, he's realized that Quats is challenging him here, and he's like, you
2-1.
know what, Quats, I'll show you how it's done.
And that was like not even he got booped or anything. He literally just charges. And how do you even charge off the map? It's
On phase
Volskaya.
3, or phase 2 of Volskaya.
How is that even possible, man? I swear to God.
He always finds a way.
He's doing it for the meme value.
Locust then very close now to the Graviton Surge available. Signs already got his as Huki pops the rally. Ground zero do still have a bit of an economy here to fight this, but now it's kind of a bit more even, or maybe even slightly in favor of Order, considering they've got position as well. Quats is the primary target. Now the Transcendence and Jordan. Earthshadow picks up Bust and Duboy. They kind of already got the rally off though, so that's really ineffective of an Earthshadow. Bust getting pretty close as they do pick up the first pick onto Jordan. Now Quats as well. Adam's very close to a self-destruct, but up to that, they don't really have too much. It'll only be a sound barrier for Monza. And Bust is very close to the Earthshadow.
Yeah, he certainly is. Sound barrier going to be important here for Unter. Quats with the Earthshadow. If he can get back on the point, maybe he can make that difference for Order. Things have slowed down for the moment.
Oh!
There goes Quats. He's still alive.
Hey, he's still alive. He's still on the point as well. Big Earthshadow though picks up 4. Bust Oh, he's not off the map at the moment, and it's showing. They get Yuki onto Quats all back to the spawn, but Quats, when he does come back, and if he does come back in time, he will have the Earthshatter. Bust won't. Locust with the Graviton Surge. Do they just go for the grab off the point to just make sure no one can even get on? No, he's just going to throw it onto the point. Quats goes for the Earthshatter, he picks up 3!
No way!
Quats
this might be
done
doable!
It again! Order hold on at the very end!
It wasn't just Quats, by the way. Signed also has a grab in the meanwhile. So 2 big ultimates come out there, and that's just another thing that Order do so well is stalling those points out for so long.
98.4% Elfishguy. Ground Zero was so close. They don't really have much left in terms of ultimates. They really threw everything into that fight. They've only got the rally.
That's a big feels bad for Ground Zero. It felt like that was going to be where they got through. I was going to give them a B if they managed to finish it off there. But to me now, it feels like if you lose that fight, your momentum is absolutely shot. And your self-belief is also gone as well. I think Order have got this in the bag.
Not only that, the ult economy. Well, you know what? Ground Zero still has a bit of an ult economy. They get Quats first as well. Pretty much all their ults have now been popped except for Oily self-destruct. He holds onto it here. He's mainly just looking for Adam, almost hunting him down. He should get the D-Mac, and he does. He forces out the self-destruct in a really bad position. Now just goes straight back into putting damage into Adam, but maybe he's going to take this fight over towards the point.
At the very least, it means Adam has the mech back, which could have been a whole lot worse. He could have just straight up gone down.
Oh, now
still a winnable fight here for Order. Quats is dropped with the Earthshatter available, but Jordation is going to have Transcendence in just a second, and that is surely going to be enough to sustain Order through this fight. Once again, Ground Zero, they get close, but they get pushed back.
Yeah, they get close, but not close enough. They will, the way it's gone so far in Volskaya Industries, I kind of feel like they've always had like 3 ultimates up, and every single time it gives them belief that they can go into this fight and win it. Yeah. And every time they just sort of fall a bit short of the mark, and Order are the ones that end up having a bit more resources and better position.
I mean, Order didn't have the better resources at the start of that fight, and now looking at this one, you could almost argue that they do. Grab's going to go out there, that's from side, in a good position as well.
They also use the Transcendence though, that is going to stop most of the damage, but Oiling's Mac's still going to be D-Mag. That's a big Earthshatter though.
From both sides.
4 onto Order though. Bust technically had a bit more. Let's be real, 4 versus 2 in favor of Bust, and they also get the execution onto Stein. 1-for-1 straight. Quad picks up 2, then Adam as well. 4 dead in the blink of an eye. And there's no time left. Order are going to win the series. They're going to go 3-0. And for Ground Zero Gaming, well, what's their mark from you now, Jordan?
Well, did you ever have any doubts for Order? I'm not sure that it's fair for me to give Ground Zero a mark on broadcast. They'll get mad at me. They won't be very happy. Choco won't invite me back onto the Overtime podcast. I'll be blacklisted from all their friends lists. I mean, look, realistically, I guess given the context, what can you really expect for Ground Zero? I'd say that's maybe like a C, C-.
I was going to say about around a C performance.
At the end of the day, it's not good enough, right? They want to be doctors. You're getting C-minuses. Just not going to hit that OP
well,
score.
C's do get degrees. Unfortunately, they don't necessarily get Overwatch Contenders wins.
No.
And in this case, Order actually take the series as well, of course, 3-0.
Yeah.
There is still one more map to be played, which will be Rialto. But and really for now, Ground Zero, it's about going into Rialto, which is it's almost like a scrim for them, right? For Ground Zero going into this final map, they need to try and learn some things off of Order, try and get this map win, build that respect. Order's just been a step above them the entire way.
I mean, you just need to go into the final map here with the mentality that you've got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Because really you don't.
Well, they don't.
Like, if you go down 0-4 here, it makes no difference. If you get 1, probably doesn't make too much difference either. But with that said, I think at least you can show some pride. You can say, hey, we got a map off Sydney Drop Airs last week. We've got a map off Order this week. All in all, that's probably better than most teams have actually been able to do, even if it's not going to reflect itself too much on the scoreboard. Again, you know, for Ground Zero, it's been such a tragic season. Like, I keep going back to those first 2 weeks. And if those first 2 weeks would have been against Sydney Drop Airs and against Order, I think you would have seen actually Ground Zero finish this off with a 4-3 kind of a scoreline. But the fact that I can't even remember who they were against. I think it might have been, well, Melbourne Mavericks definitely was week 2. I think week 1 might have been blank. Regardless, matches that Ground Zero would have realistically felt like they could have won had they had a full strength core, and they didn't. So it's just unfortunately not going to be enough for them to come back into the season, right? It's too little, it's too late, even though they're looking good on paper.
Yeah.
Coming back into this season, their best position that they're going to be able to find themselves in, I think, is still only going to be 5th.
I mean, on paper though, the paper in front of me. It says Escort 75%, 75% in terms of the mode win percentages for both teams. So really, we should be seeing Ground Zero potentially not even up the series, but even up the differences between the teams, right? You know, and make it a tighter contest and make Order really work for it. Because while Sky Industries' attack for Order was really easy. Like, they basically just walked through Ground Zero. Ground Zero's attack themselves was a bit better.
Yep.
It's definitely took it up to Order. But so far, it's been pretty smooth sailing for Order. There's been no moments where you're like, oh, Ground Zero might be able to pinch a win here.
Yep, have to agree. And that's the unfortunate reality of going up against a team like Order. It's a far cry from really what we saw last season. You know, we go to Heist, we say, hey, 3-2 against Order. And there was word, particularly I think from the Order camp, that was more Order losing than Heist winning. And I kind of have to agree with it in a sense now that we've seen this match replayed again.
Yep.
It just does look like Order in that particular match had a pretty bad day. They needed that wake-up call. They got that wake-up call last season. This season, they're not taking any chances against the weaker teams. They're just smashing them into oblivion.
Certainly so. Well, final map of the series for Order and Ground Zero. Order, of course, up 3-0 for Ground Zero. It really is. It's certainly all just about now, I guess, some respect building, trying to get a map. Because really, when we were speaking about this series, we kind of coined it 3-1, because you always want to sort of err on the side of caution with these sort of games, and 3-1 is just an easier thing to call than 4-0.
You could make an argument that 4-0 is erring on the side of caution here, knowing how Overwatch goes sometimes in AU Contenders.
Yeah.
Especially harking back to Season 1 of 2018. Oh, there goes Jordation. Goodbye.
Bye, Jordation, off the map.
That's where Color Hex died once as well.
That's going to fall as well to Stein. As Order, of course, still continue their attack. It's not as if Jordation really has that final one back. Oiley's going to be killed out. Stein
is just absolutely smashing Locust on the grab as well. Look at this. 64%. Locust is at 31. Order actually losing the fight. But Stein is charging this grab so quickly.
I wouldn't say they're losing the fight. I'd say that definitely Ground Zero are putting the pressure on Order, not being run through like they were sort of on Boss Skya. This is better from them. Putting up solid defense. They've had a couple of picks go their way, and that's allowing them to be a bit more aggressive, but they've got to be careful. Stein, he's already at basically a Graviton Surge. Locust is at 72%.
Surely they're aware that this grab is coming up. They've known Stein has been alive this whole time. They've known that he's had a high amount of charge. Put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah. If
they're not expect the grab.
Locust is at 79, so he's going to be saying to them, look, if I'm almost there, he's already got it. Now we're going to see the Transcendence immediately from Delzo, along with the rally from Dubois. So I think they were prepared for it. Locust can fire his own Graviton Surge back if they really want to here for Ground Zero. They might elect to hold on to it just for a little while, but I think at some point in this fight, it may come out because Order has still got all sticks up. Now the Earth Shadow's going to go in and it gets 3. Delzo, Dubois, busts, and well, I named them all from that Earth Shadow stun. Now they're all dead.
That's very right indeed. Good reading. Thank you. And it doesn't give the opportunity for Locust to get much done with that Graviton Surge. Look, you can see he throw it out. It's up to 30% again, but for all the good that Graviton Surge has done, Order will continue the payload push on through. One more contest here for Ground Zero. They should be able to get here on point A.
Well, there's nothing really to stop them, right? No Graviton Surge, no Earth Shadow. There's only Assault Struck, and that's not really going to do too much either. There is a double stun from the Earth Shadow on the Adamananta, but assigned the one that's going to die here. Along with Yuki, this is good from Ground Zero. Gets them back into a chance. Oh, nice charge through from Buck. Sends Quats into the wall. And Ground Zero do, in fact, stop the payload. There's only a minute and 15 seconds left.
Yeah, now we're in a bit of an interesting position. I've seen it before here on Rialto. If we sort of go back to, I don't know, Season 2 finals at MEO, Darksider vs Order, looking fairly similar. We look at even when Sydney Drop Bears dropped the map to Mind Freak, fairly similar. Order obviously on the attack have got a lot of ultimates, but all it takes is a good bit of value coming out from Ground Zero here with their own good Transcendence, good Sound Barrier, and they may well hold.
I mean, Order's got 5 ultimates available here. You expect them to win this fight, even if they didn't have 5 now. They've got all 5 up. Sign, they just pushed it up a little bit forward. Maybe expecting Ground Zero to fire the first bullet here. Now it's going to be Sign going in with that Graviton Surge. Watson just gets some hammering shots before going for the Earthshot. Oh, he threw that right into the Photon Barrier though, so it really stopped. It doesn't really connect onto anyone, and now the self-destruct from Oily is going to get Watson taken out. And the Transcendence from Jordation has finished off. Nice boot from Hunter, but the Blast Yuki as well. So for all of the ultimates that Order have thrown out, all 5 of them I should say, they got
Jungle
nothing.
Jazz, I think, just got cancelled there. I'm not sure what happened, but the sound barrier doesn't come out for some reason. Still may not play too much of a factor. Order coming back into it though.
5 seconds left. Order's only got Rally.
Signed is 75% of that Graviton Surge though.
Is that going to be enough time though? Bas has got an Earth Shadow. He can connect that onto Sign and they take him out early. Oh, it's a bit of a delay though. In fact, they did get the connection. Earth Shadow stuns Sign. Now they go for the charge. Sign is 4% away. They really need him to get this. Quartz is dead. He's gone. Immediately, Graviton Surge comes out for Order. They don't want to lose this early in Ground Zero here on Rialto. Surely not. 4 meters away. Sign just goes into super mode. Oh, he's just gone Ultra Instinct on all of Ground Zero. Gaming and Order will, in fact, get this first point.
Yeah, like I said, with Sign having grabbed there, Ground Zero just had absolutely nothing left to play with. I'm not sure what happened with that sound barrier. I actually do think Jungle Jazz got cancelled by a shield bash or something. And had that sound barrier come down, Ground Zero, of course, can push that fight a lot harder. Maybe they can wipe Order, but in fact, they have to just play back a little bit, play a little bit safer. That gives Order time to build those grabs up. And all of a sudden, we're here into Phase B.
And now they've got 2 minutes as well, which is plenty of time for a team like Order. They've already got 3 ultimates back up. Look how quick, really, when you think about the fact that they used 5 ultimates in that previous fight. Ground Zero Gaming, they will have some to fight back with themselves. Again, it just seems like it comes down to a question of who's sort of going to throw out this Graviton Surge first between the 2 teams. Quat's much closer to an Earth Shadow than Bust is. Generally, it has been Bust the first one to die, regardless of the Earth Shadow. Now, Graviton Surge going to be thrown out. Sign 10% away. Even closer than that, as Adam does connect to self-destruct. It looks like Phase B, Jordan, and Order will start to get on their merry way.
Whoa. Don't show Adam's POV, otherwise I'm going to have a seizure.
Likes the old 360s.
Spin to win. He's probably got a DPI button on his mouse.
Yeah. It's probably set to like 10,000.
Yeah.
So well, 2 minutes and 40.
That's a better response from Order though.
Yeah.
2 minutes and 40. Probably you don't finish the map off here with too much time left if you're Order, but finishing the map off at this point is going to be good
They
enough.
haven't lost a fight since they had literally overtime on the first point. Hunter, though, will call the Jungle Jazz. So as I'm speaking, I think they might just lose the fight here.
Shadow goes right into the shield as well.
Yeah. Bust not really wanting to use his just yet. He might be forced to. He's about to lose his barrier's health completely. And I think they're just more than happy to just sort of allow Order to walk back to them rather than taking the fight there, much closer to the respawn for Order. So they've actually allowed Order back onto the point.
Oh, that's
now to go for the Earth Shadow. And as you said, that's a big boy shout-out from Bust. And there's only just under 2 minutes left. That was smart. Well played from Ground Zero Gaming.
Yeah, I'm very happy with that. Let's Order in a little bit of a predicament. Well, with that said, the grab self-destruct combos there for Order. Both the support ultimates there for Order. It's not like they don't have the tools that they need to win these fights. Just need to get the payload out of that bridge arch area, because that's where it's being a real problem for them. Ground Zero with the high ground, able to put a lot of damage into Order before the fight even really starts.
I think Locust has grabbed here as well in this position. Certainly dangerous. I like the fact that Order are playing on the high ground, though. It's sort of beating Ground Zero head on now. Both sound barriers will be executed out the Graviton Surge as well. We haven't seen a few get eaten for a little while now as Adam throws out the self-destruct. Can't happen in the air. He just doesn't care, but he doesn't pick up any kills with that self-destruct in the end, as Locust will be focused by Adam and the rest of Order. You can really see the emphasis that they have been putting on Boston and Locust before really looking for Oily.
Yeah, great focus fire from Order. They obviously recognize that there's not many players that are actually getting affected by the ultimates. As soon as there is a player that's down on the ground, courtesy of Quats' Earth Shatter, that player just gets absolutely deleted, and sometimes really all it takes is just seeing one player drop from the Goats comp to open the floodgates. It's back to the 6v6, of course, now as Ground Zero do return from the respawn. Bus is low, so is Dalsu.
I mean, really, both teams have got no ultimates here. Stein is the closest out of everyone in the game right now at 85%, and Bus picks up the double. That's huge for Ground Zero because Order, they had the currents and surge ready to go.
I'm glad that we're watching Dalsu here because word on the street is that he's got the best Ana in the AU Contenders at the moment.
Hey, look, he was pretty good back
He was the OG, wasn't he? Really. So.
Can they even get onto the point here?
Hunter will
No.
not. Well, he might just.
Well,
he just got blocked, I think, a little there.
Well, you mentioned it earlier on in the day, really, for phase C on Rialto. It is kind of difficult. I think Ground Zero showing there, but I think it falls more back to the way it all began on Rialto for Order, rather than the middle phase or the end phase.
Yeah, it's always tough to finish off on Rialto. As I've said before, like I was really impressed actually for Melbourne Mavericks to be able to get the whole thing done against Legacy. So I think that's actually really difficult for Ground Zero, to be honest. You know, the way we saw first phase go there for them to be able to hold it for that long, and then Order to sort of come back and even still get quite a respectable distance.
I mean, look, it took Signs going supernova on that first point for Order to actually capture it. They kind of looked like they weren't going to be able to get it. But they did. And whilst they didn't get the entire map, they've got to a pretty hefty margin here. But regardless, Jordan, this is an opportunity for Ground Zero to actually get the map win.
It is. It's either a map win or a loss. There's no tiebreaker or time bank. At least we get a result.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot to comment on from Ground Zero's side just yet. Obviously, we have to wait for them to go out of the spawn doors. For Order, it's much the same, the standard fare.
You've always got to wonder with these sort of maps, right? You're up 3-0 in the series.
What's Order going to do here? I mean, are they playing the sneaky sort of angle? They want to come out smashing straight behind Ground Zero. It could be interesting, actually.
Well, I would have almost left one sort of up forward, maybe like a Lucio firing off some shots or something to make it look like they were actually out there.
Oh, okay. Well, they're just alpha mode before Ground Zero even comes out of the spawn doors.
This is spawn camping within the first 10 seconds from Order's side of things. And this is fine because really just buying so much time, they're making it very difficult for Ground Zero to even get outside. They're going to actually have to go on top and above Order just to make their way out of spawn. And really dropping down one of the time to Ground Zero is kind of what Order want here, because then they can segregate them. And, well, look, that's exactly what happened. Dubois by himself. Yeah,
you can hear all of those lovely ticks that Quartz is being able to get. He's hitting 2 or 3 players per swing.
90% for Quartz, passes at 40.
Yep.
This is a slaughter fest.
It is absolutely an Order.
How do you deal with this, though? What do you do?
I actually don't know, because like you don't really see this that often, right?
I think what you've got to probably do, just looking at it very shortly here, is you go up the top maybe, death proof down below onto a single target. Right now they're coming out from below this time. They kind of tried the high ground, didn't work out because they also dropped down one at a time. That didn't work. Dubois does find a pick onto Yuki though. Oof. And they do get signed as well.
91%. That's an important pick.
But winning this fight doesn't really do much for Ground Zero.
No, you're not wrong.
They haven't moved the payload. They've moved it 0.55 meters, not even 1 meter now they have.
Yeah, so Order's going to have plenty of time to reset themselves for the next coming fight. So, a bit of an interesting situation really there for Ground Zero, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, eventually, like, obviously just the power of numbers, the respawns come into effect and that kind of thing.
Once you get one pick in that sort of scenario, you can snowball off that and you can get out of there. But boy, they've wasted almost 2 minutes or so. Early Graviton Surge though with the self-destruct from Order. This is, I was going to say a little bit early, but Adam will make up for it in the end with a double self-destruct, and we're going back to camping the spawn.
Yeah, back to square one.
Let's do it all again. And Bus used his Earth Shatter in that fight as well. I think it might have got cancelled, or if it didn't, and he got it off, it literally had no effect. So for Order, they have got 3 ultimates up. They will almost have 4 with Jordation's Transcendence. And it will be 5 for Ground Zero, in fact. So slight advantage, but they don't have the Earth Shatter, whereas Quartz does. Potato. For Ground Zero, it's still going to be a difficult fight to achieve here with only a minute and a half left on Rialto.
Very important for Locust to hit a good grab here.
Does he go for the Zenyatta at the back, maybe?
I don't think so. That's too scary. The D.Va need it at that kind of a range.
Yep. Great positioning, really, from Adam there. Does just go for the grab on top of the point. Can't be eaten at all. Oily does get the self-destruct kill onto, but there's more important targets to trying to get from that, I guess, indeed, as we did see the Earth Shatter from both Reinhardt's come out. Quat's got about 2. I don't know how many actually Bust got in the end as a 1-for-1 trade. Now signed down to Bust. Bust really doing a good job of staying alive here.
Yeah, well, Order's, I think, in a sense, almost given that fight up, really. They haven't thrown a whole lot in. They know, actually, that they're going to get enough time to recontest before point A is captured. And look at what it takes Ground Zero to get. It literally cost them everything, with the exception of course, the Earth Shatter for Bust, but you've got Grab for Sign, you've got Self-Destruct there for Adam.
They used all 5 ultimates.
Sound barrier's up. Surely there's no way Order loses this fight from here.
Surely not. They've got Self-Destruct and Grab combo along with the Sound Barrier. I mean, really, Bust needs to get like a 4K Earth Shatter. He gets nothing, he gets cancelled. And now the Sound Barrier for Hunter as well. Order should be able to just sweep up Ground Zero with ease. Apparently Yuki gets a 3K. He's always been a DPS at heart.
Yep.
And for Ground Zero Gaming, what do they come back with? Can they even get back in time? I mean, Bus actually on the Wrecking Ball can force it. Then Locust comes in with the grab and a Self-Destruct. Maybe, but then there's still a Transcendence there for Order. And in fact, Quats might even be able to stop him from getting there with an Earth Shadow, which he won't actually throw out in the end. So Bus does get onto the point. They've gotten rid of Jungle Jazz though. Oh, Locust is the key here, but they're just losing too many players. Duboy on the Tracer.
Locust is still running back from spawn.
Yeah. He's very slow, the old Zaya, compared to the likes of Wrecking Ball and Tracer and Lucio. Finally, Locust arrives with his solo grab. He's up to 80 energy and he's dead. All right, short-lived.
Well, I want to say a little bit of fun there for Ground Zero, but realistically, I'm not so sure how much fun that actually was, because Order secures the 4-0 today. Not entirely surprising of a result, I don't think.
No,
maybe you would have wanted to see a little more out from Ground Zero. I think a map definitely would have been more so what Ground Zero was, at least as a baseline, hoping for. But end of the day, it is Order. So what can you expect?
I think that there was a slight opportunity on Rialto to make it 3-1.
Yeah. And
that was about it. You know, obviously, in the end, actually, because it's interesting looking back on it, but as we look at it here, the attack for Order really faltering on the first phase, where to the point where it got into overtime. And as I mentioned before, here it is here. Sign had to just go absolutely supernova because the first man down in that fight was Quats.
Yeah, but that's the exact player that you want to be relying on in a situation like this. You know, we've seen Sign doing it time and time and time again. That's why he's regarded so highly in the region when he's playing on that Zaya.
So I think when you look at Ground Zero, that again, even that sort of fight, the way they allowed Order to move back and they sort of, I wouldn't say trapped them in, but just got them where they wanted, right, to make that executional fight. Their defense wasn't bad. They didn't even allow Order to get the full map. They got camped in spawn for 2 minutes.
Yeah, definitely. I would say there's not that many takeaways actually from this for Ground Zero, you know? Like,
I don't think there's much for both teams here.
No.
This is about getting the job done.
That's right.
For Order.
That's it. And for Ground Zero, that's unfortunate because it still means that they haven't been able to get anything out of it. It's kind of a...
Or bridge the gap with those top teams.
Yeah, and it's a pretty big halt as well to their momentum heading into the end of the season, which I think is really important for Ground Zero, especially where they're sitting right now on the standings. Even if they're not able to improve their placing, per se, they obviously are still in a pretty good spot to go through to playoffs, and that's where you really need the momentum because they're going to be going up against a tough opponent in playoffs. We'll find out how that works, obviously, in a couple of weeks as to where they are ending up going. But I think really important for Ground Zero to finish this season strong.
I mean, look, this is sort of why you want these map wins as well. If you are Ground Zero, going into a map like Rialto, they had an opportunity. It was there for the taking. And maybe towards the end of the season, who knows? What if it comes down to a situation where they don't make playoffs because they didn't have enough map wins?
Well, you'd be ruining the day then, wouldn't you? You can, I think, in any case, whatever it is, go back in the season and say, what if we would have done this? Maybe we would have made playoffs, or maybe we would have had a better placing in playoffs, or you know, maybe we wouldn't have even had to play in playoffs. Maybe we would have got that auto berth through to the semi-finals. Whatever it is, I don't think really for Ground Zero that this matchup particularly makes too much of a difference. When you kind of put it in context, most teams are losing 4-0 to Order, so the expectation is that, okay, Ground Zero loses 4-0 to Order, then it's sort of on a benchmark kind of level. What they need to do is obviously focus on how their results go in the next couple of weeks.
There really is a big three, right? City Drop Bears, Blank Esports, and Order. But there's also the Macca's play of the game, of course, as Macca's is the supporter for Australian Contenders. And of course, Jordan, Macca's play of the game, Earth Shatter from Quats. It's a 4-man Earth Shatter at a point where really for Order, look, you know what, like there is no point.
Yeah, like I said when we were actually casting that game, he sort of threads the needle here. Look, Buster's
Yeah, he's left his left side open.
He just
turned
turns to Yuki
to avoid the shield bash.
Yeah, so that's actually a really nice play, I guess, in general from Order, but very nice from Quats. A good Earth Shatter. Once again, we get another Earth Shatter as the play of the game. I like seeing Earth Shatters. They're always fun.
I like the Max play of the game, right? It highlights one play, but generally when you watch it, it highlights teamwork.
And you're always like, okay, this is Quats' play of the game, but then you look at it and slow it down, and it's much easier to see all the pieces of the puzzle sort of working in unison.
Yeah, it's